Yeah, but what is the Scribble game? Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Emelbi and I am a digital artist working in West Yorkshire in England. And today we're going to talk about the Scribble game. Now the Scribble game is a process that I've used for many years for creating characters and just creating something. You know, it's a great process for coming up with something a bit different. And you can use it if you're feeling a bit void of ideas or if you feel that creative process has dried up a little bit. This is a great little tool for just coming up with something and getting those creative juices flowing. It's tapping into that latent creative potential that we all have, and it's a great tool to have in the kit. And if you use the Scribble game, it's really surprising what you can come up with. You probably end up with a character or an illustration that you perhaps wouldn't have set out to make if you just put pen to paper. And that's what I like about it. You know, you can end up with something completely different, something surprising at times. And it's a little bit like, I think I've explained this before in one of my other videos, but it's a little bit like when you look at the clouds and you see a character or something unfold within the lines and the forms of the clouds. And the other thing about the Scribble game is that when we make a scribble, and what do I mean by a scribble? So, not one of these. Although arguably you could make something creative from that. But I'm talking more of a process like this. So a nice scribble where you're making shapes and you're making connective lines, so intersecting lines, and you end up with something that you can work with, that you can see shapes and forms within the structure of the scribble. And the beauty about it really is you could give the same scribble to 8 or 9 different artists and they'll come up with something completely different, because what you're actually tapping into is your creative potential, your ideas, the things that make you who you are, how you view things. So you're going to get something very different come to the surface depending on who you are as an artist, who you are as a person. And that's what's fabulous about it, because you just don't know what you're going to end up with, which is brilliant. It's fun, at times it can be surprising, and it's a real creative process. So here's a few characters and images that I've come up with over the years using the Scribble game. So how does it work? Well, let's have a look at it. So first of all, make a really nice scribble using a pen or a pencil, and just make sure that you make some really decent shapes and that you get lots of intersecting lines. Once you've done that, you start to turn the paper and you just let your imagination flow over the paper and just see what jumps out at you. Something will, not always immediately, but there will be something there to find. Sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 things there to find. So I can see an image here. I just want to pick it out now. And what I tend to do is put lines in that aren't there as well. So this is when you start to define the thing that has jumped out at you, the character or form that you've seen with your imagination. So basically you're using it as a bit of a template. And I've seen this character here. It's kind of floating in the sky. It's got arms and legs. So I'm just building the structure of the character now and just adding bits and pieces that aren't there. So this is when the second part of the creative process kind of takes over, where you've got part of a structure of something and now you can start to embellish it and just add bits and pieces that aren't there, using your creative process. So just adding bits and pieces now. Putting a bit of shading in and just defining the character. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So now I'm taking it into Procreate. And in Procreate, I'm just going to define the black line first. So get a really strong line and a neat copy of what I've just found using the Scribble game. Okay, so there's my clean line. So what I'm going to do now is just add some texture where the shaded areas would be. Wasn't quite happy with that, so let's have a look at something else. Use this half tone. Quite like that, that works for me. And then bit by bit, just adding more structure to this character that I've found. Don't really know what this character is. It's a bit odd, really. Again, like I said, what you come up with isn't necessarily what you would set out to draw. And this is the beauty of this process. This is the beauty of the Scribble game. You just don't really know what you're going to end up with. And there's something beautiful in that. There's something quite exciting in ending up with something you've no idea what you're going to get. I mean, you've no idea what you're going to conjure up at all, and that's the beauty of the Scribble game. But the nice thing about that is that it can set you on a path to something else really creative. You might end up with a character that you want to sort of really develop and do some different things with. And if you ended up with something you weren't expecting, I just find that a really great creative tool to have at your disposal. So here I'm just adding some bits and pieces now. A few more textures and a few more shaded areas. Just tidying up bits and pieces that need tidying up. So I wonder where this character would come from. I don't really know what it is. It looks quite sculptural, actually. It could be a sculpture. Could make quite a decent sculpture, actually, made out of metal or something. Or maybe it'd make a noise as the wind blew through it. Anyway, I've just taken it into Photoshop now. So those of you that know this channel and know my artwork, I do a lot of things between Photoshop and Procreate. I tend to play tennis with both of those platforms, really. So in Photoshop, I'm just changing the colour of the line. I've added a stroke around the image, and now I'm just going to introduce some colour elements. It looks quite an industrial thing, this character, whatever it is. Still don't know what it is. I quite like it. So I thought I'd put some cogs into this half tone that I've dropped at the back of this character, just to sort of give the idea that it's, I don't know, it's industrial, or it's come from industry, or it's robotic in some kind of way, or it's mechanical. And again, that's just really being led by what I found within this scribble. So I'm just messing around with just the colour balance, really, just making sure that it feels right. I've got a good texture in the background. I think it's a bit strong at the moment. I'll just knock that back. Until eventually I end up with something that's quite pleasing, quite like that. And here are some colour versions. So I don't know what this character is. I really don't know what it is, but I quite like it. And, you know, I've ended up with something that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't made the scribble and hadn't used that process. So it's really quite an interesting thing to get involved with. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's been informative for you. It's really great to do. Have a bash at it and see what you can come up with, definitely. Let me know what you think in the comments, because that's always helpful. And yeah, happy scribbling, I think. Thanks for stopping by. Really great that you've been on board, and hit like if you've liked this video. If you've not subscribed yet, please do so. It'd be great to have you on board. Hit the bell for updates and get the updates when I post future videos. Otherwise, have a fantastic day. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye for now.